nuclear bombs, we have 172. You are an economy of 3 billion. We are an economy, you are an economy of 300 billion.
Right,
We are an economy of around 4 trillion.
right, right.
Imagine such. So what is this thing is we need to see the data. We need to question with the data. What is lacking in the media is they don't give you authentic data. They will give you cheesy headlines. They will sensationalize matters.
Cheesy headlines, they needed to sell their stories, right?
Yes. They don't. They will not give you data, authentic data, and they will not share that credible insight. How many people spoke about the plight of Uyghur Muslims in China? Nobody does that.
Nobody.
They have to understand you cannot escape death. You cannot escape taxes. So, and once you need to teach them that you cannot evade tax. Also, if you see our neighbors who have used
Right.
unparliamentary words against our prime minister, the president, they termed India as Spanish. Then what happened? The economy was in dole for our education system.
Right,
Okay,
right,
I believe that our education system actually hampers. The same thing is what is happening is why do I need to learn the concepts of science when
right,
I'm much more interested in something like arts? That
right,
option should be given when I'm in the grade 6th or 7th. But what happens is for the best part of the years you are being forced to memorize,
right.
and that also retention of information is being considered to be is considered as liberalization, privatization, and the globalization, the start, the usher of reforms, which happened in 1991 after our economy was actually under the license Raj. I saw the license Raj as well. Okay, people will talk about the Ukraine war, okay, but nobody will speak about the issues faced by the Hindus in Bangladesh.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
people in Bollywood are crying for people dying in Gaza,
Right.
but nobody is speaking about the atrocities which is being done on Hindus of Bangladesh.
So is it
Okay,
because, sir, media is not showing or media is not highlighting? It is because of that?
see, the media is driven by agenda.
Today, we have explored the stories that inspire, inform, and leave you with a spark of curiosity. I'm Cedric George, your host. My purpose is to share the wisdom of established entrepreneurs and professionals with millions of youth who want to be successful. Today, we are diving into the fascinating world of geopolitics, economics, and untold story that is shaping our future. Today, we have very special guest with us, Umesh Agarwal, a visionary thinker, geoeconomics and geopolitical analyst, the founder and editor of IndiaChronicle.in. Let's right now dive into uh, Umesh's journey. Let's learn from the insights. Welcome to Set Talks, Umesh sir, and thank you so much for taking out that time for this podcast.
It's my pleasure as well.
Sir, I have some questions aligned for you. Are you ready?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Sir, I was going through profile, the legacy you have built over the years, Yuka. So, how you got into geopolitics? What inspired to get into this journey?
See, I am being born in 1978. I remember
Right,
in 1987, I used to see the popular, there was a new weekly podcast of Pranay Roy, which used to happen on Friday night, The World This Week. Okay.
right,
That time you had only DD. The graphics were not so great.
right,
That was the
right,
first time what happened is the graphics, the type of language Pranay Roy used, and he used to give us a roundabout of what is happening in the world through his weekly podcast.
right, right,
So that was the time that I was really fascinated towards geopolitics, and I remember having seen the summits of Rajiv
right,
Gandhi with Mikhail Gorbachev of USSR, and we even the American administration at that time. Okay, I remember watching the matches of Davis Cup final between India and Sweden, in which Ramesh Krishnan and Vijay Amritraj were playing against Max Wilander and Stephen Edberg. So this was a thing that I was very much fascinated towards sports, and something I really grew up in the shadows watching Pranay Roy. He was really in my time. That time, if you can see, Didi never had that sort. We were not so informed that it was used to be an obscure commentary, but something
Right.
World This Week fascinated me. So I grew. So my interest in geopolitics grew from that time.
Basically, while you're growing up, so many stories, sir. Pranay Roy was your inspiration, we can say. You used
Yes,
to, yeah,
he was. You can say that he was one of my first inspiration,
inspiration.
and he was the one who used to give us the inside stories of what used to happen on a weekly
Right,
basis. Nowadays, you have on an hourly basis.
right.
That time, it used to happen only for 1 hour in on a weekly basis.
Yeah, that's why, sir, you something about you, sir. You are still, after achieving so much in your life, you're still open to learning, and you're curious to learn about. You're very passionate about learning new things. Yeah.
See,
So,
I like to learn from people. I am a seeker. I don't
right,
think I have achieved anything. We
right,
are on a path of higher consciousness, and there is nothing. If you think that you have learned everything, that is the end of your journey.
right,
And as a soul, I believe we should be evolving.
right.
So yes, that I have had multiple switches in my career and other things, but it's a journey. You need to go grow, and every experience teaches you something.
Wow, sir. So, can you share the moment or event that sparked your passion for geopolitics and microeconomics?
See, I remember in 1991 the collapse of Soviet Union. Okay, I remember that USSR collapsed into 15 countries. And overnight, I was really thinking, how can an empire, which was the country which was supposedly the most strongest country in the world, could crumble like that?
Right.
What were the factors? And that time I was really, that was a defining moment. I think during my school days, when many people were not even aware of what's happening in geopolitics, I was very much fascinated during the Cold War era. Okay, this was the end of the Cold War era in 91 92. So I saw that the demolition of the Berlin Wall and all sorts of events that were happening at a rapid pace. So, and even we had embarked on liberalization. I remember hearing the news of the demise, the assassination of Rajiv Gandhi as
Right.
well. So, lot of things were happening during those times. Okay, so it was one of the when I grew up, it was like the end of the Cold War. We were,
Hmm.
it was one end of an era and a start of a new era.
The privatization era. You
Yes.
saw it in your, yeah, yeah. It was in, yeah, that era. You have like witnessed
Yeah,
it.
the
Yeah.
liberalization, privatization, and the globalization, the start, the usher of reforms, which
Right. Right.
happened in 1991 after our economy was
Okay.
actually under the license Raj. I saw the license Raj as well.
Right. Right.
So that was the end of the license Raj. That was the end of the Cold War era.
So many, sir. So many stories. I mean, I would definitely like to talk about your journey for hours, but yeah, you have limited time, sir. In today's world, how do you define the balance of power between emerging economics like India and established ones like US and China? So, how do you
The,
see it?
See, after the collapse of the Soviet Union, you know
Right.
that
Right.
there was only one order in the world. That was the order of the American-led
Right.
world order,
Right.
and they had a complete control. Okay, and sooner I saw that when China was inducted into WTO, and the rise of China was phenomenal.
Mm.
Okay, and while the US confined itself of being the representative of the West, the what do you say, the Anglo-Saxon
Right.
empire. It basically means the Five Eyes plus the European Union. China grew its influence within the global south. And if you see, the China has been entrapping countries by giving them generous loan and
Right.
doing projects which are not for their use. The
Right.
sole objective is to entrap them with so much of debt and then take away their natural resources to feed its own growth. So now right now it is a era of multi
Hmm.
alignment, and it's a multipolar world order. And
Right.
India is emerged very strongly. And
Right.
even
Right.
in a crisis, if you see, wherever if you see any problem, the first country to respond will be India.
You're right.
In
Totally
fact,
agree.
Turkey, which is considered to be an arch rival, here they have
Right.
been criticizing India a lot. When there was a earthquake, the first country to reach the to their aid was India.
Right.
And even if you see the during the COVID, world from the clutches of the American farmers, the
Right.
Pfizer and
Right.
Moderna, and their worthless mRNA vaccines, which is a cause which has been
Right.
proven right now that they
Right.
are being the cause of heart attacks uh, and blood clotting and many other diseases which have been erupting. Our vaccines, which were not being given approval by the WHO, has proved effective. And
Right.
also, you can see Afghanistan,
Hmm.
where we have provided 250,000 tons of wheat.
Right.
We have provided them with medicines. We have
Right.
provided them with vaccines. We have provided them with infrastructure support. The Afghanistan Parliament, India built. We have built their a dam. We have
Right.
built their power stations. We have built their roads. And we have upskilled the
Right.
Afghan people,
Right.
and many
Right.
of the Afghan people are studying in India. And top of the Afghan cricket team,
Right.
which is the lifeline of the Afghan people,
Right.
they are
Right.
training in India.
Right.
And we have done projects worth around 25,000 crores in Afghanistan, and it is
Right.
set to resume soon as well.
So
And also, if
basic,
you see,
yeah.
and also, if you see our neighbors who have used
Right.
unparliamentary words against our prime minister,
Right. Right.
imagine the Maldivian ministries and the president. They termed India as expansed, and what happened? The economy was in doldrums.
Right. Right.
Then Museum had to come to India. Then he had sent his foreign minister. He had sent his defense minister. He has restored everything.
Right.
And you can say what happened in Sri Lanka last year. The
Right.
Rajpakse regime had to flee. India provided them generous support. And even the new president, who's considered to be pro-Chinese,
Right.
now has stated that the Sri Lankan soil will not be used for anti-India activities.
Hmm.
Right now, if you see our neighbor Bangladesh,
Right.
they are persecuting the minorities
Right.
Hindus there.
Right.
They are
Exactly.
provoking India.
Right.
And in spite of knowing that we've supplied them with all basic needs, okay, they are
Hmm.
going with defense collaboration with Pakistan, but they want the fuel supplies from India, and they have used one of the most unparliamentary language,
Right.
if you see. So yes, we have been very much calm and restrained in our approach. We know that these guys will automatically fall in line, and
Some or other they have to come and like ask for help. They
see
will ask India only.
the thing is, just providing help does not matter anymore.
Right.
We need to make them accountable, okay,
Exactly. Exactly.
and we need to make them sure that they will not pursue anti-India activities on their soil. That
Correct.
deterrence, I think, has not come yet. So India has to pursue that. It has to give aid with a condition that if you do not honor your agreements, then
Right.
there will be punitive measures which has to be communicated to all these countries.
Hmm. Right. Right. Something like deep inside you have shared, sir. Sir, how young Indians better understand and contribute to global economy and geopolitics discussion? What's your thought process?
See, the first thing is, I believe that the young people should need to observe the economy around you, okay, the
Right.
locality around you.
Hmm.
If you are living in a particular city or a district, just need to know, you need to know what are the strengths.
Right.
Okay. And everything in India, what happens is every city, every district is different from each other.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
So the dynamics and the complexities are very much enormous. You cannot classify it in a binary. So my belief system is that you definitely need to be resourceful because
Hmm.
India lacks resources. Just if you see that, okay, many times the youth do not have the resources, but what they can achieve is they have the willpower. They can get the things done, and
Right.
persistent efforts will reward you. And one more thing is today youth are getting much more. They need to understand that for the in economy to grow, we
Right.
need to ensure that we need to substitute our imports. We
Right.
need to promote products which are good, which are uh, uh, we need to promote projects, the products from countries who are friendly with India.
Right.
Okay, similarly, if you I use Samsung mobile. I do not use any Chinese mobile like
Right.
Oppo or OnePlus or anything.
Exactly. Right. Right.
So, that in this way, I would figure it out. We have to
Yeah.
leverage that
Basically,
power.
in a way, you're contributing as a you're fulfilling citizen responsibility.
Yes, and
Right.
one more thing is, don't want to go for impulsive buying. Just try to postpone your buying. Even sometimes, once you postpone your buying and other things, it
Right.
helps you a lot. Okay,
Right.
you can maintain things until
Right.
and until you need to buy durable things, and you need to ensure that you can use it to the fullest. The resource utilization has to be done.
Right.
Maybe you might be having a lot of capital, you might be having many things to
Hmm.
splurge, but you need to understand that this wealth was built not by you but by your forefathers
Right.
who had understood the value of resourcefulness.
Correct. This is something really important. Every citizen should first think about. Right. So, what's your take on the growing influence of technology in shaping international relations? Because India, if you see, last 10 years, we are ahead of major we are in we can say top 5, top 10 countries in digitalization.
See, if you see, India has gone leaps and bounds in forward of digitalization.
Right.
You can see the Jan Dhan enabled bank accounts, which are
Right.
being opened in minutes. Okay,
Correct. Correct.
and that is the first step towards financialization of the economy.
Right. Right.
Okay, right now, if you see that the bank accounts, the UPI
Right.
systems, which we had developed, and it provides seamless transactions across
Right.
networks. Okay, you don't even need an internet right now. Okay,
Right.
and this is type of an empowerment people have received. Okay, earlier what happened is wherever you had to go, you needed cash, but nowadays your mobile is your power. Okay, you can go travel any part of India, and you can just go there and spend, and you can transact. So
Right.
it promoted business in a very large way. Okay, and if you see during the COVID times, we had that Aadhaar enabled COVID
Right.
verification, the
Exactly.
vaccine verification system, the COVID facility. Okay, that was a technological marvel. Okay, in US they were giving vaccinated. People were getting vaccinated, but the records were maintained manually. But India, everything was happening electronically.
Right.
The certificates were generated. The digital public infrastructure was growing leaps and bounds. Okay, and my sense is that India right now can provide alternatives to many countries, and they have offered that digital public infrastructure to many countries. I think 2 to 3 countries we are developing that UPI also.
Right.
Okay,
Right. Right.
and even yes, 2 days back there was a news that Sri Lanka is going to adopt the same digitalization what India has adopted, and India is
Right.
going to help them in setting up that digital public infrastructure as well. So I see that the leadership role is happening in India. And one more thing is that democratization of information. So
Right.
with the spread of social media, with the spread of information, youth have become empowered. They know
Right.
their rights. They know how to get their work done. If things are not happening, there is a redressal mechanism. They are now setting up the agenda. Politicians cannot no longer fool them. They are
Right.
there to question them as well. So this is one of the most important things. We should be celebrating that.
We are in a at the right time at right place, right? Right. So
Yeah.
you talked about youth. So you are empowering youth. What role does education play in preparing the next generation for global challenges?
See, I'm not a very great fan of our education system.
Right, right,
Okay.
right,
I believe that our education system actually hampers the development of our youth.
mhm,
Okay. Being critical, I can say that earlier,
right,
uh, I have seen my son who is in plus two. He was plus two 2 years back.
right,
Earlier, what happened is the board exams used to happen in February. The entrance exam used to happen in April and May. Right now, what happens is that all the entrance exam has been happening in December.
mm,
So there is a very less time, and added to that, they are being given projects. The
right,
projects are like that when which the teachers ask them to take the printout. Okay, the 100 pages printout for 5 subjects, and something they don't like it, they say redo the entire project. So lot of time, lot of stationery is
right,
being wasted. I don't know what is the type of education system that our ministry is doing, but lot of things have to be improved. Yes, they are trying something, they are trying to tinkering, but they are not able to get that the breakthrough we require. And one more thing, most of the education is on a rod basis. Whatever you see that the government is trying to promote critical thinking, yes, they are promoting in the syllabus, but nothing that are all cosmetic in nature. Okay, the same thing is what is happening is why do I need to learn the concepts of science when
right,
I'm much more interested in something like arts? That
right,
option should be given when I'm in grade sixth or seventh. But what happens is, for the best part of the years, you are being forced to memorize,
right,
and that also retention of information is being considered to be is considered as a yardstick of intelligence. So, and you know that right now, so many unicorns have done. If you see their academic qualification, everyone would have been. I think the top people, the top toppers in their class in their education system, they would not have been the one who would have created these unicorns.
exactly. I agree with you, sir. Totally.
And our education system does not teach us the real time experience. They do not give us the purview that how things are evolving. They are still in the medieval period. And what we have to see is the education system has to be aligned with the industry requirements. So we have to do a lot, I believe. A lot of talking is being done, but superficially it has to be done.
Right.
But on the ground, many things have to change.
Which I totally agree with you, sir. You mentioned about a lot of improvement still needs to be done. Because in India, if we see, after graduation, we come to know how to manage our finance, personal finance, and all. How to do saving stuff and all. So if these things, as you mentioned, as per the interest, are taught in schools, it will be much better, right? Right. Which I totally agree with you.
You are absolutely right.
Right.
Financial literacy is required tremendously. Okay. And once you teach them the concepts of financial literacy, one
Right.
more thing is our youngsters can only transact in the financial industry once they achieve 18 years. I think that should be lowered to around 14 years.
Right.
Okay. And they should be with a limited amount. Okay. They should be given that sort of financial independence also. They should be made to pay taxes also. They
Right.
should learn the concept of paying the taxes, because one thing they have to understand, you cannot escape death, you cannot escape taxes as well.
Right. Right.
So, and once you need to teach them that you cannot evade tax, you need to pay your tax, you need to perform your duties. It is your
Right.
duty. What
Right.
we do is we teach them these are your rights, but we don't teach them what are your duties. And that is the reason the state of the society is such that people are camping wherever they want. They sit and squat on Shaheen Bagh, they sit and squat on the Singur border, they cause inconvenience to others, They say this is our right, but what is the thing is they forget that you are infringing on the rights of others. That your duty is to ensure that you do not cause inconvenience to others. This needs to be needs to be made clear and wide.
Right. Absolutely right, sir. Sir, how young people, you talked about flow of information, how young people can navigate flow of information in today's media landscape?
Frankly, let me tell you, I'm not a great fan of media headlines.
Right,
Okay,
right, right,
the media headlines have become cheesy, and I regard one of the prominent paper as the toilet paper of India.
right,
Okay, and someone and most of the news print media is being is driven by an agenda.
correct,
Okay,
correct.
they do not paint a realistic picture. The cheese headlines are directed in such a way that they normalize some things and they try to amplify small trivial issues.
Hmm.
So that is a problem with the media. Okay, people will talk about the Ukraine war, okay, but nobody will speak about the issues faced by the Hindus in Bangladesh.
Right,
Okay,
right, right,
people in Bollywood are crying for people dying in Gaza, but
right.
nobody is speaking about the atrocities which is being done on Hindus of Bangladesh.
So is it
Okay,
because, sir, media is not showing or media is not highlighting? It is because of that?
see, the media is driven by agenda.
Okay,
They
right,
are
right. Yeah, yeah, you have mentioned.
Yeah, the backers, the people who are running them are driven by agenda.
Right,
And unless and until someone great celebrity says something, nobody's even bothered. Unless and until Donald Trump made the issue of Bangladeshi Hindus, none in India also cared about it.
right,
All
right.
eyes on Gaza, but nobody said that all eyes on Bangladesh.
Correct, correct.
So my point is that you need to condemn all the things in an equal manner. Give them the space. How many people know that Yazdi, the tribe, the
Hmm.
Yazdi tribe in
Right,
Iraq, in which the women were forcibly abducted by the ISIS fighters, and they were involved in producing babies. It is like genocidal thing. How many people spoke about them? How many people spoke about the plight of Uyghur Muslims in China? Nobody does that.
nobody does, right.
The PLA army sleeps with the Uyghur women, and none in the global Ummah cares to speak about them. Nobody speaks about the rights of the Tibetans. So
Correct,
there are many people who are hearing who would like to their voices to be heard, but the media is not doing that. And add to that our big tech,
right,
they are also they are also heavily compromised. They are under the grip of the leftist and the jihadis.
right. There's immense pressure is there because of that. Yeah,
Yes, that's a problem.
right,
That's why if you see that the youth needs to see the information, don't need the opinion they provide. They don't believe them. You do your own due diligence. You do your own reasoning. One thing I would like to say is the China-Pakistan economic corridor. Okay,
right,
generally I speak to the Pakistani people. I just ask them, you have provided your land to transfer the goods from the Gwadar province to the Xinjiang province.
right,
Basically, it is your land. And the Chinese have built roads, rails, and other things for their own convenience, using their own materials and their own labor. Why have they converted this investment as debt? Instead, they should be paying you royalty. Okay. Because
right.
they are using your land. If I was the finance minister of Pakistan, I would have charged them the royalty. Nobody is able to decipher that as well. Yesterday, I was speaking about to the one of the Pakistani anchors.
Right.
They were saying that nuclear bomb is a necessity. I just asked them, you have 170 nuclear bombs, we have 172. You are an economy of 3 billion. We are economy. You are an economy of 300 billion.
Right.
We are an economy of around 4 trillion.
Right. Right.
Imagine. Such So what is this thing is we need to see the data. We need to question with the data. What is lacking in media is they don't give you authentic data. They will give you cheesy headlines They will sensationalize matters.
Cheesy headlines, they needed to sell their stories, right?
Yes. They will not give you data, authentic data, and they will not share that credible insights, what is required. So I was criticizing them, but in the criticism, I was mentioning them. That is the flaws.